In the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful. This is the second part of the series based on the book Self-Building by Ayatollah Ibrahim Amini. And in the first part, we went over the definition of self-building, what it is, and in this video we're going over the first step in the process of self-building. And the first step in the process of self-building is the purification of the heart. And this is a very vast subject, and it's not going to be covered in depth in this video. This is just we're like basically skimming the surface of this issue, but we want people out there to know when we say the heart in Islam, what do we mean? The word in Arabic is qalb, and it says the first step towards self-purification is purification of the qalb. So we'll be using the word qalb and the word heart interchangeably, but when we're talking about the heart, when we say the word heart, we're not talking about the physical heart, the one that pumps blood through the body, the one that's in the chest. Although there is a connection between that, the physical heart, and the qalb, the spiritual heart. And actually, Brother Khalil Jaafer, may Allah continue to guide him, he has a whole series about this called In Search of a Weeping Heart. And when I upload this video, inshallah, I'll post a link to that lecture series on here if the brothers and sisters want more information specifically regarding the connection between the qalb and the physical heart. So a pure heart is the goal, to have a pure heart. And the pure heart is like a fertile garden that promotes the growth of all good things within it, such as faith, kindness, satisfaction, love, sincerity, loyalty, friendship, and joy. The pure heart is exactly like a garden. Everything that we think is good, it comes from a pure heart. And an impure heart is like a sewer that it has all sorts of contamination and bad things in it. And an impure heart promotes the qualities such as disbelief, meanness, ungratefulness, hatred, hypocrisy, fear, arrogance, and pain. All the things basically that we consider bad in a person. It comes from the origin of this is an impure heart, according to Islam. And most of us, we live in a world where the vast majority of people that we meet, and probably ourselves also, have an impure heart. So we don't even understand what a pure heart is. We get glimpses of it once in a while, or when we see somebody that's an extremely good person, we get glimpses of that. But basically, we are alienated from that concept altogether. And inshallah, the process of self-building and the process of purification of the heart the first step in this process is to familiarize ourselves with exactly what is a pure heart, and then we can go about trying to build that in ourselves. So there are many verses in the Holy Quran that address the heart specifically and reveal its qualities. Like I said before, when it's talking about the heart in the Quran, the qalb, it's talking about the spiritual heart and not necessarily the physical heart. But the heart is a place where Rasulullah received the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It says in the Quran, نَزَلَ بِهِ الرُّوحُ الْأَمِينُ عَلَى قَلْبِكَ لِتَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُنذِرِينَ. So it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the Ruh al-Amin, and the Ruh al-Amin in this is Angel Gabriel, Jibreel. Ala qalbika, to your heart, you meaning the Prophet Muhammad. Litakuna min al-mundirin, so that you may be one of the warners to warn people. The heart is a place where the faith or disbelief of a person is also located. It says this in the Quran. يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مِنْ أَتَى اللَّهِ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. So it says that day when nothing will profit a man, nothing will profit him, no wealth, or his children will not help him or will not profit him. The only thing that will profit him, illa min ata Allahu bi qalbil salim, except those who come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a pure heart. And the location of health or disease is also in the qalb, the heart. And some people might say, well, no, that's not true. We have diseases in our body. Well, no, actually the disease, the beginning of the disease that you have, most of the diseases, is in the heart, the spiritual heart, and then the symptoms manifest themselves in the physical body, but that's not actually the root of the disease. Many people would be surprised that actually the Quran talks about this quite a bit. It says, "Fi qulubihim maradun, fazadahum Allahu maradan." It says that in their hearts is a disease. Qalbihim, their hearts, plural, their hearts is a disease. Fazadahum Allahu maradan. And it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases this disease. And you might think, well, if in their hearts is a disease, why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to increase it? So is this verse, and if you look at it, people get confused about this verse. They think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to do something bad to people. And actually this verse, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 10, these ayahs here are specifically talking about the munafiq, the hypocrites. And the disease of their heart is hypocrisy. And because of their insistence on being hypocrites and doing hypocrisy, something that they have a full choice over. So you have a complete choice over whether to be a hypocrite or not. You don't have a choice whether you're born tall or short. You don't have a choice about which country you're born in. You don't have a choice about who your parents are. But if you're a hypocrite, you do hypocrisy, you do have a choice, 100% choice about that. So because they insist on doing it and they have 100% choice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows this disease, or He permits this disease of hypocrisy to increase in their heart. And I'm also going to post a link for Sayyid Tabatabai, radiallahu alayhi anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, and his Tafsir, where he talks about this also. He says the true location of the sickness or disease is in the heart, and it sometimes manifests itself in physical forms. And I didn't get that for myself, but actually Sayyid Tabatabai talks about that in his Tafsir of this ayah, and I'm going to post a link to that, inshallah, also. The location of ignorance or knowledge is also in the qalb, in the heart. And of course, this also says this also in the Holy Quran. And you might think that it's actually in the brain, and a lot of people say this, but the brain is only a manifestation of this. And it says this in the Quran. So it says, أَفَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَتَكُونَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا أَوْ آذَنٌ يسمعون بها فإنما لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. So it says, have you not traveled through the earth, and have they not hearts which comprehend? So it's saying the hearts comprehend, not the mind. The heart comprehends. فَتَقُولُ لَهُمْ قُلُوبُهُمْ يَعْقِلُونَ. So it says, قُلُوبٌ is the hearts. يَعْقِلُونَ is from aqal. So the aqal is actually in the heart, it's saying. It's not in the brain. أَوْ أَذَنٌ يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا, or ears with they hear. And it says, and this next part of it actually strengthens this concept. It says, yet surely it is not, it says, لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب. And this says it directly. It says, it is not the eyes that are blind, not the vision that is blind. The eyes work perfectly fine. It's the heart that is blind. And latifi sudur, the heart that is actually in the chest, meaning that the qalb. Now, so this verse is speaking about not only about the qulub, the spiritual heart, but also it says fi sudur, in the chest. So it's saying that this heart, or the physical heart and the spiritual heart both, either the physical heart, just the spiritual heart, or the physical heart and the spiritual heart both, they're blind. It's not the eyes that are blind. The eyes work perfectly fine, but it's the heart that's blind. So this is a very interesting verse. So it shows that actually that many people, they are actually, it's their heart that's blind. Ignorance, hypocrisy, and disease also described as darkness, and knowledge and faith and happiness also described as light in the Holy Quran. And these are not the light such as sunlight or light from a light bulb or the lack of this, but it is a metaphor for the light and darkness of the inner self, which is the heart. The qalb, or inner self, or core of the self, or spirit, is described as heart because it functions in a similar way. The physical heart functions to receive something which is toxic, blood that's filled with carbon dioxide, which is actually toxic, and to clean it via the lungs and pump something which is essential to every cell of the body, oxygen, through the body. That's what the physical heart does. In the same way, the qalb, the spiritual heart, functions to receive input which is toxic or tainted, the mixed up and many times contradictory audio and visual and other things that we receive through our ears, through our eyes, through our senses from the outside. And it cleans it using the aql, knowledge, and the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and gives it back to us in the form of guidance so we know what to do. We don't just see things and hear things and it's all mixed up in our brain. We actually use this information using our aql, using the hidayah, the guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us so that we know how to act and we know what to do. And this is what the qalb does. The qalb is the master control that gives us the direction and the will to act. Some misguided people ascribe the master control to the brain, but the brain is only able to process input from the other organs and can store memories and associate one memory with another. In other words, it can do lower level functionality of perception. But the brain cannot decide, it cannot judge, it cannot comprehend, cannot give us the will to act or not to act, and it cannot feel. It is the qalb that does that, according to the Quran, the heart. The qalb actually controls the brain and not the other way around. Like I said, the heart is the master controller. The heart is the one that gives us the will to act or not to act, to believe or not to believe. It's not the brain that does that. The proof is verse 22:46, the one we just read. It said, "It's not the eyes that become blind, but the heart that is in the chest." The eyes can be capable of seeing, and the brain can be capable of processing the information and associating it. But the heart refuses to see, it refuses to judge correctly and comprehend the information it is getting. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, "Everyone who lacks self-restraint and piety will have a dead heart. Whoever has a dead heart will enter hell." A dead heart does not mean that the heart inside the chest doesn't work. You could have a dead heart, but the heart inside the chest is working perfectly fine. It's taking the carbon dioxide, expelling it. It's pumping blood filled with oxygen through the body. But your spiritual heart, your qalb, is dead because you have lost your humanity. Because of the impurities which have let it into their qalb, it is no longer functions. And in other words, the spiritual heart no longer functions because it no longer guides you. If it no longer guides you to the truth, to the things that you're supposed to be doing, then actually your spiritual heart is in fact dead. And then you become at the mercy of your own whims and desires. And then after that you end up in hell. And this is what Imam Ali Islam says. So then our main concern here and our main concern in the next part of it is not to say, these people are going to hell. And no, that's not what we're doing. What we're trying to do is to realize, okay, let's go back. We want to realize what is our qalb, what is our spiritual heart, and learn, okay, and what is our goal? The goal is to purify the heart. All of our hearts are filled with all sorts of different pollutions. So our goal is, how do we purify the heart? We as individuals lack the ability to purify our own heart without guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. Just like a patient who is ignorant of how the body works cannot diagnose himself or treat himself, but requires a physician to diagnose and treat him. We are ignorant regarding the causes and effects of different parts of our nafs and how they interact. And inshallah, in the next series of videos, we'll go over the next step, which is how to purify the heart. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.